Yo, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to the very first official Millennium Rings podcast. I'd like to start off by giving a few shout outs to our sponsors, which are Top Choice Gaming and Pandemonium Gaming. And of course, all our socials will be down in the description below as well. If you guys didn't know, my name is Kenny Nguyen. I'm a World Championship competitor, and today I'm joined with Dominic Couch and Kobe Short, which are two YCS champions. I mean, it's literally our channel, but I figured for the first episode, it'd be nice to give a brief introduction, especially for the new people, because if we're going to be giving our opinions, I'd like to think that we'd give some credibility, right? So, for today's topic, we're going to be talking about 3v3s due to the upcoming 3v3 YCS in Mexico, and overall just how to prepare for one, how to deck build for one, and what makes a successful team. So, if you're looking for something specific in the topic, I've left timestamps in the description below to make it easier to digest since we will be going over a good amount of topics today. But without further ado, let's get into it. Alright guys, so to start off, we're going to be talking about kind of our prior experiences with 3v3s, just to give kind of foundation to all the other topics that are coming up, since we all have 3v3 experiences here. So we'll just start off with Dom, then we'll go to Kobe, and I'll kind of give my thoughts. So how has your past 3v3s been, Dom?
They've been good. So I've played three 3v3 YCSs. I played the one in Atlanta with Ruben and Andrew Fidela, and then I played the one in Peru with Gabriel Vargas and Galileo de Abaldia, and then I played the one in YCS Las Vegas that we won with Scott Page and Steven Silverman. We did not top I did not top the first one. I topped top 16, the one in Peru. And then I obviously won the one in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Not only because I won was the one in Las Vegas my favorite, but I felt like I just had the most chemistry with my teammates. Like, what I feel like really makes the 3v3s better than real events, almost in a sense, is that, like, you get to hang out with your bros. Like, they are so much more fun, like, because they end up being a team game and you guys are, like, hyped up off each other. Like, it just adds so much more to the experience
Yep.
than a regular YCS can contain, and like that's where I truly believe the difference is. But I enjoyed all three YCSs I played. They're all like very special events, and I wish they were more often, to be honest.
Yeah, I feel like they're memorable, like you said, because of like playing with your friends, right? Like, and especially
Definitely.
since like they don't happen that often too. So
Yeah, they're normally like once a year, or
yeah, it always
like
makes it more
once in
memorable.
Latin America,
Right.
once in America.
Mm-hmm. Okay, for sure. And how about you, Kobe?
So two 3v3 YCSs. My first one was the first one in Atlanta, where I played with Haitham Jahari and Tommy Williams. And then my second one was YCS Las Vegas that Dom won by accident, I guess.
Throwing him under the bus.
I played with Mark St. Romain and Quentin Brown. We topped neither of those events, but they were still
Unlucky.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was just really unfortunate.
Yeah.
There's definitely factors that like we didn't top because of X reason, but like
Yeah.
it happens. I would still say those are some of the most fun events, though. Like just being able to play with your friends, like
Yeah.
when you have to come back, like say like one of your teammates wins, one of them loses, you're the last one playing.
Oh, that is so
And, like,
hype.
you clutch out the match and your whole team gets hype over it.
Yeah.
Like I don't even like popping off in front of opponents after like I win, even though it's like a clutch game, like you need it, like you're on the bubble or something.
Mm-hmm.
But like, dude, when your whole team like pops off because you clutched up
Yeah.
with the reverse 2-0 your opponent, it was like, oh my god, it's pretty crazy. I think like Dom said, kind of touch up on that. Like I kind of wish they did more 3v3s, but like obviously we're kind of still easing back into competitive play with the pandemic kind of taking not like a full on back step, but like kind of easing up to allow people to interact with people again. So eventually, I do think we will have more 3v3s because Konami acknowledges that they get the most positive feedback from those.
Mm-hmm.
And like, that's not to diss like single YCSs. Like, I still think single events are really fun. I just think Yu-Gi-Oh is very fun, but 3v3s just have something more, you know? Like, I think.
Oh yeah. I don't know what it is about it. It might be like the friends or how like often it doesn't happen, but it doesn't even feel like a real YCS at times.
No, like
Whoa! It is a very real YCS.
Okay, real as in like a different experience, not as in like the prestige.
I'm going.
Yeah, so like definitely Dom is 3/3 of a YCS champion totally.
Hey, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. That's not Kobe. Kobe said that one.
That was all me. I'll claim it.
But yeah, like to touch upon what Kobe said, it's definitely a huge thing I missed to mention. But it's like, oh, man, the hype moments are so crazy. Like in solo YCSs, like I feel like you don't get that hype until like the finals almost, or even if you like make some crazy plan Swiss, right? Like you go and tell your friends and stuff about it, but. Man, we were X11 in Vegas, and we win round
that is
6.
Sus.
we win round 6, and we pop off probably about as bad as we did when we won the finals.
Oh my god!
Like, let me tell you, we stood
it's
up.
Different.
We stood up, high-fiving each other. I picked up Silverman, like lifted him, like we were. It was crazy.
Yeah, y'all
like,
wrestling.
In our round 6, our opponents are sitting there like, "What the hell are you guys doing?" But like, they didn't understand.
Yeah,
I mean, the roles would have been reversed if they won. No.
Yeah,
I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like my team even had a similar experience at Vegas too. Like I think we had the round 2 or round 3 feature, and I think Mark might have won or lost. I know the match came down to me, and I was the one that was on stream. Yeah. And I was down the game, and I had to win both my games to, like, clutch out the win for our team. Like, dude, it was so crazy.
Yeah.
It felt like a YCS finals, even though, like, I could have been playing against people that was their first event. I think it was my opponent's first event. Like, it was crazy.
They were probably so sad, but it had to be a hype for you, though.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure. But you know, actually, I think the reason why. And I've also had like a similar experience too of like popping off and getting that hyped. It's simply because you have like your teammates and like in a sense it's like there's people watching you, so like you know there's more pressure and also you're like carrying your teammates too, right? So like with all those factors, it makes it like you gotta pop off. I mean, you didn't do it for yourself, you did it for your team too.
You gotta let everyone know.
Yeah, I know, right? You gotta let everyone know. And you know what everyone saw, so you gotta swear.
Yeah, definitely. You gotta slip out.
Yeah, unlike 1v1 events or solo ICSs, like, no one really saw what you did besides your opponent. And what are you gonna do? Pop off your opponent? Like, they're probably already salty, right?
Yeah, and you just look like a bum.
Yeah, like, but the pop off is kind of like towards your teammate in a sense.
100%. Like, you let them know who you are him. Like,
yeah, you are him. No, you cooked. Yeah. For sure. Anything else to add, or I can give my experiences as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I would like to hear yours.
Okay, for sure. So I've actually, unlike you guys, only played in one 3v3 YCS, which was I think the first one, YCS Atlanta. And I also played Vegas. Oh, I know why I don't remember. I just scrubbed out. But we don't talk about that. Yeah. For Atlanta, I think we lost. I teamed with some of my friends from NorCal. I don't think anyone knows them. But I think I only went up to like I know I finished up day 1, but I don't think I even made it to day 2. Honestly, I'm looking for like a 3v3 top first before I even think about getting a ring.
Same,
Yeah, like being Kobe, we're like struggling out here. Yeah,
bro.
I just didn't do well on them. But like you guys said, it's been like great though. It's definitely one of those few events where I feel like the how much fun you have at an event, almost as much as you wanna not say you don't care about topping, it's like you kind of do, right? Like you
Yeah.
kind of do, yeah. So like, but 3v3s definitely are like some of the events where even though I scrubbed out, I genuinely actually had a good time. And like, I can't really say that about some events. Some events I like. It's really bad, I know, but I do attach them to the top. And for
Oh, some of them suck.
oh
Like,
yeah, yeah.
I don't even I don't even think this event sucked because like my friend, like it was the first time I've seen all my friends in a while. But like YCS Hartford, that city's just not fun, and
Oh yeah,
like
you're there for the Yu-Gi-Oh.
I had one of the worst tournament experience I've ever had.
Yeah.
Like
Nice though.
the
Our hotel room was so fun. That was one of my favorite. That was one of my favorite. Like,
and
yeah, that
like
was one
playing
of my favorites.
Luke and everyone at back at the hotel after was really fun too. It was just like
The Iron Man. Oh my god.
solo.
Yeah.
The
No, no, yeah. I feel like usually I like relate my events to like the top, but 3v3s are a little bit different. I don't know though. Like for a Hartford that you said it was fun, Dom. Do you think it was fun because like of the people? It's not really like the city or the event, right? It's just the people. I don't know. I don't know if it's like kind of the
Like,
same.
it was definitely the city of Hartford was not fun at all.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
None.
But it was the
like
homies.
there are definitely cities. There are definitely cities that are fun and like can make a tournament.
Yeah.
Um, like Pasadena was actually pretty cool, but even that one that was like my birthday and just like spending it with the people. Like the people are what make tournaments for me, not necessarily the place.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually why I enjoy 3v3 so much more.
Yeah,
Like,
it's like all it's basically your homies.
yeah, like even if
Yeah.
you look at like, man, this is the crazy thing about 3v3s, right? Like Kobe said, we won on accident, but like if you look at like the three teams I told you
Yeah.
I played on, the team I won with is the worst on paper, and that is the funniest thing,
And you know what's funny?
right? Like,
I've seen that top cut before, and I remember I saw it like way back when, and I remember seeing all these big names, and like you guys got the dub.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
like it was just so fun, and like obviously we all wanted to win, but like the thing was, if we lost, none of us cared because we like
Hmm.
had so much fun together either way. Like obviously we cared, but like
It was
you
more of the
understand what I'm
dynamic.
saying.
Yeah.
And
Cause
there was
Like,
so much that went into your team, like even existing for that event. Like I feel like
yeah, that's
the road
crazy.
to that actually like kind of made it worth more. Like
mm, it's the story.
yeah, it
Mhm.
really
Yeah.
is. Like
Hmm.
all of my both of my 3v3 teams, like I wouldn't change them for like the event. I had a really fun time with both of them. Just
Yeah, I mean
I
that's how
really
you know like the event's fun when like you didn't do well and you can still look back and be like, yeah, I wouldn't change anything.
100%.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Is there anything else you guys would like to add, or we can move on to the next topic?
Yeah, I think we can move on to the next topic. I think we
Yeah.
Covered it
that
pretty
one up
well. Yeah,
pretty
no,
well.
we did go pretty deep on that one. All right,
Yes. How
so
we do YCS Hartford on that one.
yeah, we're about to branch off to Hartford. All right. So next question will be a little bit different. I guess not different, but we're gonna be talking a little bit more about gameplay. So how would you guys prepare for a new format? And I'm saying this in relation to 3v3 because Mexico City, the YCS that Dom you're attending, will be the
Mhm.
first event of Photon Hypernova, I think. So, just kind of like a two-in-one questions. How do you prepare for a new format, and do you think it's a little bit different because it's a 3v3, right? So, is it different mindset, different deck building? And we can go around circle and I'll give our thoughts on that, starting with you, Del.
Sure. So
Yep.
I think like one of the most important things about preparing for a 3v3 is one, you have to have chemistry with your teammates. Like, if three random people play with each other that are not like friends prior, like that's where you get into like the mentality that almost happens in like Call of Duty when you play a random lobby, right? And like one of your
Yeah,
teammates
yeah,
is
yeah.
feeding,
Yep.
like one of your teammates is feeding, you start getting pissed.
Mm-hmm.
Like the 11-year-old language starts coming out, and you're like, whoa, chill out, right?
Gotta
But
relax. Yep. Yep. Yep.
but if you're friends with your teammates and you guys are like there to do well, obviously, but like you guys are gonna have fun either way. That's how you're gonna have the best experience, and it's how you're gonna do well the best. Like again,
So
I mentioned earlier, like on paper, the team I won with was not the best one on paper, right? But it was
Yeah.
those two I had so much more chemistry with than either of the other teams I played the 3v3 with before. And I think that like truly is what made the experience and like what allowed us to do so well. Like someone messes up, no one is like ragging on him. It's like it's all good. We'll get him next time. Like we're chilling. Look
Yeah.
at and then it's like look at our third teammate. He's popping off. It doesn't matter. We messed up. Like you're good,
Yeah.
right?
and
Like
to piggyback off that, I remember at YCS Atlanta, there was a team. It was all three of their first tops. I think they went X1 in Swiss or whatever, but the 3v3 was each one of their first tops, and up until that point, every single one of them have bubbled every event for the last 3 years.
Oh
Like,
God. Yep.
but them joining together and playing together and calming each other's nerves, like, got them their first top. Like that was really cool to watch. I don't
Mm-hmm.
remember the names, but I definitely like remember that. It was really cool to see.
Yeah.
yeah, I
Success
remember
stories
hearing
like
about
that is
them.
like pretty motivating.
Definitely.
Hmm.
Yeah, but it's yeah, and then like from the deck aspect, like you need to know. All right, there's no like bad way to say this, but there's no nice way to say this. You need to know what each teammate is capable of.
Right. I think that's like really important too. It's like knowing
Like
your teammates' weaknesses and strengths, pretty much, right?
yeah, and it
Yep.
also goes into how much time does each teammate have to prepare for the tournament.
Yeah.
Like like the deck I played was drastically different than the deck both my other teammates played, right? And for someone
Right.
like Steve Silverman, who played with us, who like had not played Yu-Gi-Oh in like 3 years before that tournament with us.
Yep.
Like he didn't really know, like he knew how to link summon, but like he didn't know Phantasme existed until it got summoned against me in top 16.
Yo,
Like
what is that card?
it
No,
was crazy. It's crazy.
that's
I
my
got some.
story.
I got some. Oof, got some crazy stories about that 3v3, but
Hmm.
Can you
it's
please tell the Fantasme story? That one's really funny.
yeah. You want me to tell it right now?
Yeah, yeah. All right, we'd love to hear it. Phantasmic story.
All right, sure. So
Okay.
I'm in top 16. I obviously played Shadal Invoked. I get
Mhm.
dimensional barriered on my Shadal fusion
Okay.
by Salamangreat in top 16, right? And so I look at Silverman because
Mhm.
he's player B, I'm player A,
Yeah.
and I like normal Alistar search invocation. I'm like Silverman. Should I make Amaraj and Secure Gardna and act like the damage from Secure Gardna, like that it would prevent, matters, or do I just leave this Alistar up, say the damage doesn't matter to play around Phantasme? And Silverman
And he
goes,
said, "What is
and
Phantasmic?"
so Silverman goes, what the hell is Phantasme and what the hell is Secure Gardna? And then I
Yo,
just, I
you did
just
not win.
laughed. I laughed, explained to him Phantasme, and
Uh-huh.
then he goes, oh hell no, your opponent is not drawing cards.
I know.
Pass.
I know.
And
I know
then
why
and
he said
then
that
he
because he's a
turns to
boomer
Scott,
player.
and then he turns to Scott, and he goes, that card draws two cards. Are you trolling? Why is it not in our deck? It's so funny. It's
Dude,
one of
you
the best
tell
stories ever.
any old player about a card that can draw 2 cards immediately, they go, "Oh hell no, hell
Yeah,
no."
no, not happening.
Yeah,
It was
he's gonna
crazy.
draw 2.
Yeah, and like so like Silverman did not have a lot of time to prepare for that event, right?
Uh-huh.
So a deck that was like really easy for him to play, and a deck that was really easy for him to like fumble his way to game shots was that
Yep.
dinosaur deck. That was like,
Hmm.
like I don't know if Scott believed it was the best deck. Scott definitely liked that deck a lot and played that deck very well.
Yeah.
But like that deck undoubtedly was the best deck for Silverman to be able to play.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's like
Hmm.
being able to identify how much time
Hmm.
and like the knowledge of your teammates and what they have to be able to invest into the tournament,
Yep.
and then figuring out like what is the best deck for them to play as a person,
Yep.
not necessarily what is the best deck.
No, that's a great
It's
example.
very
Actually,
important.
the story actually ties in really well because it's like it's not like you're saying your teammates are like bad. You're kind of like adapting to their play style almost. So like
Yeah,
someone who playtests less will like play something easier versus someone who playtests more could play something more difficult. Something like that. And I think like for Silverman when he first like came back, like for you to identify for like the team to identify the deck to give to the player is really important, right? Because like not every time the best deck is the correct deck, for the person. So like it's easy, like for example now to just be like, oh, let's all three play Tier Limit Ishizu, right? It's like that might not even be correct depending on like your team. So I think that's like the difference there. Like the best may just not be like the correct.
Yeah, because some
exactly.
people like you don't all look at the game the same way. Like
Yeah.
some people think of the game as more of like a back and forth kind of game,
Yeah.
where they'll play decks that have more trap cards in it or just more interactive cards like hand traps or whatever.
Hmm.
Like the biggest example of that, like right now, is like Sprite. I think.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah, like you kind of just want your opponent to play with you, not you just play your game, and they're just happen to be there.
Mhm.
Um, and some people like to take control of the game and like make their opponent play certain ways, so they'll play the more aggressive deck. Like in the Vegas format for that 3v3, it was I felt like Spiral was kind of the deck that like made people play a certain way against it. Maybe
Yep.
Shadal too, because of Shadal Fusion, how impactful that card is.
Yep.
But like the decks being the aggressor, like you can't give that to everyone and expect a good outcome. Because like if one person doesn't play the deck very well, you're gonna have to like help them more. And if you're helping your teammate the entire time,
No, that slows you down, right?
that creates two liabilities.
Right.
Like
Hmm.
it just that puts so much pressure on the B player
Hmm.
most of the time that like I
I
I
mean
don't know.
that makes actually a lot of sense because it's like we've all seen how like crazy those like Tier Limit Shizu chain links can be. Now imagine like you having to do like both of those. Like you're already in chain link 10, now your A players in chain link 10, your C players in chain link 10. Like they gotta know what they're doing. You can't like be telling them
Because you
every
have
time,
to have a steady game pace. You can't just
Yeah.
like pause
Mhm.
game, help them, come back. No, you're all on the same clock. Like
Yeah.
that's a
Mhm.
huge part about
And
3v3s.
you that makes you like misplay more too. So like
Mm-hmm.
it just kind of like you helping them drags you down, and then it's like it just spirals, right? And then like the next person helps you, it'll drag them down, and then it'll be a mess. So it's better to like just give the person something that they know the best, so that they can ask like fewer questions. I would say.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
If you need to help them, you still can. It just won't be as extensive.
Yeah. Of course, like simple questions, not like how should I order this like chain link 10 or whatever.
Yeah, no, it's like should I do
Yeah.
play A or play B? Not should I do like Chainlink 1 Sharon, Chainlink 2 Rhino, or the opposite?
Yeah, I know. At that point, it's like, dude, you don't even know what you're doing.
Yeah, because then you have to ask them big questions, and that's just no.
Yeah.
Yeah, like helping somebody decide between different lines of play, or like seeing a line of play they don't see, is very different than like how do I order these 10 chain links?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not.
Yeah,
It's
I
not
think
the
it just.
same.
Mm-hmm.
Which, like, for I guess this can speak on Mexico for deck building purposes. Personally, I would be playing the tier deck or some form of the tier deck because I still feel it's the most powerful deck.
Yep.
But for a normal team, like your average 3v3 team, I don't think they should be playing the tier deck as like the majority, you know? Because it's such a complicated deck. Like, even if you're like, okay, we all play it so we could all help each other, you run into the situation we just explained where you're like, you're both in chain link 7 or 8,
Yep.
and you're getting confused in your chain links. You make a gameplay error that causes, like, your opponent calls a judge, you get a game loss, all because you were confused with your teammates' chain links. Like,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
it's so huge. Like, I think the Cashier deck's going to be so popular for that event.
Yep.
Even, like, it is just coming out that weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's going to be so popular because we can't. Obviously, I'm not the only person thinking this way.
Yeah.
So I think like a lot of people are just going to be like, yeah, this tier deck's very difficult. We'll play this deck that you open shift is cool. Like,
Yeah. Definitely a main contributor.
I don't think that's bad, right? Like you can't. Like it is not bad for someone to like come to the conclusion of like this deck is too hard for the 3v3 because like you also want to play a deck that you are able to help your teammates, right? Like,
Yep.
And if you're playing tier, even if you're playing tier, and your teammate is playing like an easier deck like Hush Tira, you still have to be able to keep up with your game and help them.
Yeah,
and like that is like too hard for a lot of people, and like it is not admitting that you are bad. It is admitting that is you are biting off more than you can chew in that scenario.
Yeah.
Exactly, and like if I'll take me as an example, if I were to team with people from my locals, like if I brought them over to Vegas or whatever, and I'm like, hey, we're gonna play this 3v3. What decks do y'all want to play? I'm not letting them play the tier deck, and I'm like, that's not even a knock on them. They just don't play the game as competitively as I do. So it's like,
yeah, it's being self-aware.
That's causing us to have a liability for no reason. If they just play decks they're comfortable with, and I play a deck I'm comfortable with, we'll probably do fine. And then once you get into top cut, all you need is a little bit of luck, and you're fine.
Yeah, I actually have like kind of a hot take, I think, or I don't even know if it's a hot take, but sometimes I actually think that playing 3v3s and just treating them like 1v1s is actually sometimes beneficial for you than like working together, because it's actually harder than people think to like play 2 games at once.
In some matchups, I do think like this is where accountability has to come in. Like, you have to kind of man up and be like, okay, I understand. As a team, we have strong links. We kind of like, not to say we have a weak link, but we have not every player is on the same caliber. Right?
You have stronger links, not weak links. Yeah.
You have stronger links. Like sometimes, like if my team were to play against Dom's team, and if we have to take someone and just be like, hey, bro, you're on your own, you're playing against Dom, I just need, like, there's no point in us really helping you.
Yeah.
We can deal with his other teammates. Like, that's a real thing. Like, you have to acknowledge, like, when it's fine to just, like, make them play on their own to focus on getting your game so you have a chance of getting to the next round.
That's also identifying the strong links of your opponent's team, right? Like, if you ISO like one of the opposing teammates, and you think they're the strong link, and you take them away from helping their team because you're not getting help, so they get less opportunities to help their teammates. That's also a big deal, Because it may make their teammates easier to beat.
Yeah.
And a lot of people get that backwards. They try and ISO the weak teammate and try and like single them out, but I don't think that's really how you're supposed to do it.
Yeah.
I think you're supposed to do the strongest person, take them away. And
Yeah.
the best case scenario is when the strongest player is sitting B, because then the team can't communicate at all.
Right.
That's why you see.
All right. So, is there anything that you guys would like to add to that topic? I feel like we covered it pretty well.
I agree.
I agree.
No, I guess now we can probably talk about like
Okay.
deck building for the YCS.
Yeah. Do you guys want to go over specifically deck building in general, or like deck building for YCS Mexico?
I guess for 3v3s in general, because I feel like people kind of. I don't know. I guess we can. Like, people kind of generalize 3v3s and make them, like, a bigger thing than what they actually are.
Yep.
Like, they think, like...
I realize that.
we all have to play the same deck because we're all... Like, we all need to talk to each other. Or we all have to play different decks so that this guy will think that you're playing this deck or whatever. Like, that's not really...
It's not that deep, like, huh?
What you should be building for in every event is later rounds. You want to build to beat better players.
Yep.
Like, getting out of rounds 1, 2, 3, 4 shouldn't be hard. Like, sometimes it's challenging. Sometimes you just have to run the gauntlet. So you'll get round 1 Jesse Kotton, right?
Yeah.
But, like...
Thank God that guy has buys. Can't play him till round 3.
Yeah, and you're still playing him round 1. You're like, well... What I get? All right.
I hate when that happens, dude. It's like you just started the game and you get the final boss round 1.
Yeah, you get a and you're like, well, what's your turtle? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it happens.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah.
Realistically, you should be building for later rounds in the tournament. Like,
yeah,
that's why some decks just aren't good decks in tournaments, even though they're good decks IRL. Like, I would say something like, I don't know, Labyrinth is like a good deck in real life. But in a tournament setting, it's not a good deck because better players are still trying, like, they understand, like, okay, I could play against this, I'm going to play a couple cards to beat this, and, like, it just silver bullet matchup. They understand how to play those matchups. Like, I feel like people just limit themselves because they're overthinking things, and if they just took a simpler approach, they would go so much further in tournaments.
To like piggyback off what Kobe said, so I have 3 points I want to make.
Yep.
The first is I'm really glad he brought up Jesse because now we can put him in the title of the video.
Let's go.
The second is I think that like there is no like true advantage to other than like some side deck choices. Like if you are all playing the same deck, like I know Jesse and them did this in Peru. I think it was, and forgive me if I'm wrong, Jesse, Sal, and Furman, but two of them, and I think it was, I want to say it was Furman and Asala played, like Mystic Mine, like as their like board breaker cards, and then Furman, Jesse, who sat B, I think maybe, I'm not sure, played hand traps as his going second cards, so that when because they're all playing the same deck, when their teammates saw that like they were playing board breakers, they'd be like, okay, like they don't play hand traps, go nuts, and then Jesse would be like, Ash,
right?
You know, and they'd be like, damn, I lose now, right? And so like outside of that being like a deck building advantage to 3v3s, I don't believe there really are any. And that you should just play the deck that you are comfortable with, and the deck but you should also know how to play all the other decks. Like you should know that anyway for like going into a YCS, but especially a 3v3, you need to know how your teammates' decks play so you can try to help them. And then the last thing I wanted to say is, well, I believe there are no deck building advantages. Sometimes there are with team names. Like the guys we played in top 4, They were all playing going first decks, and their team name was Dino DNA. So
Wait, that's funny.
Yeah, that's crazy, right?
Wait,
And it
yeah.
almost worked. It
But
almost worked on us.
Yeah, because it's not obvious. It's just subtle, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to hear about team names almost working. I have some good team names that almost work.
It's almost working. The thing is, it's not even obvious though, because like that name could work, because it's not like something stupid like team name we love going second. You know, like it's kind of like subtle, right? Like it makes you like you want to outplay them. You're like, oh, Dino DNA. They probably want to go second.
Team
Yeah.
name make me go first.
Like it's not like straight obvious, but I mean that could be a mind game too, right? Like you make something so obvious that they're like, there's no way.
And you can't tell me that like in early rounds of Swiss, their opponents wouldn't win the die roll and be like, well, yeah, you can go first. And then they just wombo out, kill you. Like,
Yeah.
It probably happened at least once.
Yeah, we'll give them one.
It doesn't happen later in the tournaments.
No,
which is
it definitely doesn't. Yeah.
Okay, well that's the thing. If you're not known, it might.
That's true.
100%.
Those are the perks to being low key.
Because they were like three people I had no idea who they were. We get matched up against them in top 4, and I'm like, damn, Silverman, I might make this guy go first if I win the roll.
It almost worked. Yeah. Not like,
no.
yeah.
I agree.
Hey, sometimes you never know, but I do think it's like super gimmicky. And also, if you're known, if you're like Jesse Kotton, like yeah, good luck. Your deck's getting exposed. Your list is probably going to getting exposed round 1.
Yeah,
You're off the spot.
happens a lot.
Yeah.
And he doesn't even play till round 3.
his list gets
round
exposed round 1. He plays round 3. His opponent knows his list already. I hate that it's a joke, but low key, I do think that it happened before.
It really happens.
I know it really happens, right? Like,
VIP.
yeah.
Like everyone knows what I'm playing. Like round 2, and I don't have VIP. It sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that does happen. But yeah, no, that's like, yeah, that's definitely a thing. That's like a lot different from 1v1 or solo YCSs. But I think that's about it. Do you guys have anything that you want to add?
No.
Mm-mm.
All right. Yeah, I think Dom, you went pretty in depth. You had 3 points laid out.
I had the bullet points.
Yeah, you had the bullet points. He said I got 3 points. All right.
And don't forget the most important one. Jesse's the title.
Jesse's the title. You made sure it was the first point.
I'll come back to it. That is views.
All right, for sure. We'll like that. So the next thing I want to go over is, I guess because we're talking about Mexico, right? Since 3v will be in Mexico, this isn't really related to 3v3s, but what are you guys' thoughts on South American events versus American events? And I guess we can talk about South American 3v3s too, because I know there's probably a difference, especially since there's a language barrier. So we can start with you, Dom.
Yeah.
Since you've played in one.
So I will say, I speak some Spanish, but I'm not fluent, right? But I spoke enough to play Yu-Gi-Oh!
Mm-hmm.
And like buy food and because I mean, like, we've all seen the size of me. I have to be able to order food.
Yo, he knows.
So
yeah.
So yeah, I knew how to like order food and like do all the essentials and like not go to prison for anything crazy.
All right,
but like
that's perfect.
Yeah, exactly. So I knew enough, but I wasn't like fluent. So like speaking to some of the judges was rough.
Oh yeah, I mean it's hard when you're
luckily-
talking to like people who know better Spanish than you too, right?
Yes, they
Yeah.
also just speak hella fast. Like slow down, please.
Yep.
like my what's it called? My Linguio or whatever the language app is. It doesn't speak that fast. I can't keep up.
Yeah.
Duolingo. That's it. Linguio. I'm such an idiot.
Sorry.
Anyways, But yeah, I had Gally on my team in Peru. And he obviously speaks very fluent Spanish, so that made it easier.
Mm-hmm.
But I think even like Jesse Asala and Furman, who like do not speak fluent Spanish, like it was still fine.
Yeah.
Because you can
You
just
just have
hone
to
in
be
on the
careful.
words. Like, you can relatively understand. It's not
Yeah,
too difficult.
they usually have a judge that speaks English also, so
Yeah.
like it's fine.
Okay. So it kind of
I
works
would
out.
say the biggest thing is if you don't have a Spanish speaker, you have no idea what they're saying to each other.
Oh yeah, I was literally about to say that. I was like, well, luckily for you, you had like Galley, but like, what are your thoughts on people like playing South American events, but they don't have like a Spanish speaker on their team?
I mean, I think it's fine. Well, here's the other thing, right? Like, it's not like in the U.S. where like you guys are kind of forced to speak English,
Yeah,
if I remember right.
yeah, I think we
Yeah.
do. We like have to speak
Yeah.
English, which is funny.
Down there, like, you can just be like, dude, I do not speak Spanish, and like, your opponents can't understand you either. Like for the most part.
Yeah, yeah. That's just a
So
real
like,
thing.
both sides have the language buff. They just know how to talk to their judges better.
That's true. I mean, overall, that's just the home court advantage.
Mhm.
Yeah. So like
I
at
mean, what do you
Peru,
expect?
but at like Peru, when you were playing, like because you had Galley, pretty much there wasn't like any problems, right? It was cool.
Yeah, I mean, like there were a few judge calls, but he like
Oh, he handled them.
yeah, he handled like if there was ever a judge call with him or Gabe, like it was just like talk to this guy. I don't know.
Yeah. Talk to my lawyer. Yeah. Uh, yeah, for sure. I mean, I've never played in a South American event, so I don't really have that much experiences. But that's what I've always like thought in terms of like me having like questions about it or like having thoughts about going. It's just the
You
language
play
barrier.
Guadalajara, right? Like that,
Yeah,
that's kind of
yeah,
similar.
yeah. I play Guadalajara, which is like a lot similar. Like I think it's okay. Like it's not the worst. I mean, in general,
Yeah, I mean, I
yeah.
assume Mexico City would be much more similar to Guadalajara than Peru.
Yep. It would be like, yeah. Basically, all you need is the essentials, and if you have a Spanish speaker, even better. Okay, gotcha. And you've never played a South American event, right, Kobe?
No, I haven't. I
No.
was trying to go to which one was it this year? Was it Guadalajara?
Guadalajara. Yep, Guadalajara.
Yeah, I was trying to go to that, but I couldn't end up
Oh,
seeing it.
That was the one. That was the one we talked about. We didn't talk about any of the other ones.
yeah.
Yeah.
I've gone to like every Guadalajara since 2018. I think I went there twice, or I went there twice, or once this year, and once before the pandemic. And the only reason why I keep going now is because I got really salty. I didn't top the first one, so I feel like I'm gonna always come back.
Yeah, I think like I don't know, maybe I guess this is from my perspective since I don't go to their events.
Yep.
Like I kind of think their events are a little bit easier from like an outside perspective. They're
So
smaller,
I will
but
say, I think their Swiss is easier. Oh, so it goes two different ways.
Yep.
Their Swiss is easier because like you're not playing a bunch of broken people all of Swiss,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
like can also just not be true. Like depending on who you play against, it's not like South American players are all bad.
Yep.
Like I mean, Paulo's from down there. Andres Torres is from down there. Like Gallo's from down there. Galley is from down there. Like they have hella broken people down there.
Mm-hmm.
So like there are people you will play against down there that you will not play up here.
Mhm.
But overall, I will say like their Swiss is probably easier. Like their events are easier to top.
Yeah.
I think that there is somewhat of an argument that their events may be harder to win because their top cuts are so crazy.
No, they
Because
are.
they're just like all of the good people that traveled.
Dude, I'll tell you, it's like two events. You play Top Cut, it's YCS Guadalajara. I mean, or Swiss, and then you get to Top Cut, and you're just playing USA.
Yeah, like his top cut was one of the hardest top cuts ever.
Yeah.
Like his win, Chris James, that
Yep.
was definitely one of the hardest top cuts of all time.
Yeah. Out of nowhere, you get the American bracket. It's like all Americans in Top Cut.
Yeah. It. See, that part definitely does seem more difficult, but like a lot of people kind of go to South America to farm tops.
We won't name any names.
No, definitely not. It's just that's a real thing.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I don't think it's because they're bad. I think because USA just, I mean, it's probably just. I mean, I don't want to make a debate right now between USA and EU, but we'll say like NA plus EU, we're probably like the better regions simply because we just have more people that are addicted to this game.
Well, you also just have more events.
Oh yeah, that's true. You also just have more events, right? That's just
Like NA gets the most events.
Very high level, as often as we do. Like America, there's an event almost every month. Every other month.
Yeah. It's almost like this is like an American game. Yeah. So. Okay. So that's kind of all I have for the comparisons between South American events. That was insightful. All right. Do you guys have anything that you'd like to add to the point?
No.
I'm thinking.
No, it's all good. I mean, I don't know.
Alright, never mind. No, I have nothing to add.
Yeah, no, it made me think too, because I was like, I've been to 2 South American events now. So I have some experience, but I think we went over them. Like, I think most people are mainly concerned about the language barrier, and definitely a lot of people are wondering if it's the skill level too, if it's easier. Try to farm some tops over there real quick. All right, cool. So I think that covers the South American portion that I wanted to go over, and I think that's all we have for this week's podcast. So before we end, we'll just ask a little bit of a fun questions, because I've seen this question been kind of tossed around Facebook or like social media. It's a little bit controversial, but we'll see everyone's opinions on it. I know Dom might have a bias, but question is, do you think 3v3 champions are just as real as solo events?
Let me kick Kobe from the call.
He said, let me kick Kobe. What do you think, Dom? We'll go Dom, then we'll go Cody, because you guys are 2 separate champions or the same.
Kobe.
Okay, let's hear it.
You want to start with me?
Let's hear it.
Get it out of the way.
Okay, so I do think 3v3s count, right? Most of them. Like
He's being nice.
I don't think the last one counted because, like,
the
world ended right after that. Who knows?
well, the last one was Quito, so now you're just talking crazy about South America.
Yeah, so the NA one.
Oh, it was. I didn't even realize that.
The last North American 3v3 YCS, I don't know, kind of doesn't count. You had like Silverman win.
Yeah, Silverman winning again ended the world. I agree.
Yeah, Silverman ended. Silverman winning ended the world. Yeah.
Did you just say Silverman winning ended the world?
It did.
Yo, that goes crazy.
Like,
yeah.
Okay, so like being real, yeah, they count. Like, you're playing the same amount of people. Like,
I think they're like, I don't think they're harder.
Yeah.
But I think that like they are harder and easier in different ways, right?
Yeah.
Like to play perfectly.
I'm gonna go with mine first. So for mine, like, my team had a day 2-ing record. Like, we had a record that still had a chance to be in top cut if you cut to a top cut. Like, we were X2 after day 1. We just lost in round 1. Like,
yeah,
that's just unlucky.
Yeah.
Me personally, I had probably one of the better records in the tournament. Like, I was X1 both 3v3s. But I didn't even day 2. Like, I think there is a skill to it, because I think if I played better as a team, I think we probably would have made day 2 and probably had a good shot at topping both events. But
Yo, you got accountability. I would have just blamed it on my teammates.
No, I think our team building was worse for the second one
Yeah.
than the first one because I think I should have sat B.
Yeah.
But or Quentin should have sat B. One of us should have sat B. It shouldn't have been Mark.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, the fact that you can recognize that and not just be like, nah, team events, they don't count. It's the team's fault.
no, they definitely count. Except the one the Dom won. That definitely counts.
I was going to ask you, are you just saying that because Dom's here? What if he wasn't here? Would your opinions change?
I think that they both count except for the solo YCS the Kobe one. That one was obviously a fluke.
Out of every event, we'll discredit the 11 round YCS. Yeah, that one was fake for sure.
Okay, come on, Pasadena? Like, do they even have running water? No, I'm trolling.
Out of all events that I count, it's kind of funny. We'll not count the one that has the 11 rounds now.
Yeah, don't count the Californian event that probably has one of the highest attendances.
No, that one gotta be fake.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, 3v3s are harder in some aspects, easier in others. Like, I think that actually, like, playing perfect, like, you and your teammates playing perfectly is probably easier because you can discuss it. You have multiple people's brains.
Yeah.
But that also means that, like, defeating your opponent is harder because it's easier for them too.
Yeah, so it kind of evens out, right?
Especially in top, exactly. Like, especially in top cut.
Oh yeah.
Like, even if you're better than one of your opponents, like, it evens out, right? Like, whereas if you're like way crazier than your opponent and it's heads up, like you like are more likely to win, but you also have a higher chance to just get sacked because like or like something crazy happen or you like brick, which is less likely to happen in a 3v3 because 2 out of 3 players have to lose.
Yeah, 3v3 just reduces variance. Like I just gotta agree with that.
Exactly. Like, so it is both harder and easier, which means I think it counts the same.
Okay, I'll say this: they just have different skill sets.
Exactly.
Right, but they're like basically the same.
Known that during my win, California was just on fire, so I had to go through the toughest conditions.
California was on fire. Then that means the fire did evaporate the water. You won an event that had no running water, and it's fake.
You're obsessed with this running water.
Literally, the entire state was burning. I think.
Wait, I literally live here, and I don't even remember that. I mean, I remember it was burning, but I didn't remember it was that time. It was during that time too?
Yeah, it was the wildfires. Yeah.
Oh, that's when it happened.
I mean, isn't that like once a month in California?
Low key, yeah, but just not right now. But that's crazy that it happened in like November though. Wait, that YCS was in November or was it in April?
Yeah, it was
November, October, right?
Yeah, November.
Okay, because I know we had one in May or April, but I think that was a different one.
Yeah, no, this was the one right before COVID.
Oh.
Yeah.
You won with Sky Orcus?
Yep.
Sky Orcus, okay. Damn. Alright, I guess we got our answer. 3v3s and solos have their own skill set. We can agree on that.
They count if you think they count.
Alright. See, that's what matters. What matters is if it counts to you.
If you consider it a credential, it is a credential.
That is true. That is true.
Avery thinks, like, ARGs count.
No, we're not bringing ARGs to the discussion.
It boosts him from, like, 2 Konami tops to, like...
I think events count.
But... I
think we just have to wrap it up. Congratulate our friend Avery on his second Konami top ever at YCS Pasadena. He got his first one at Charlotte. And
he's catching. He's getting roasted just by being here, not even saying anything. I think this is a good place to end. I think we covered pretty much everything. Especially around 3v3. We could end it on roasting Avery. But yeah, no, I think this was super insightful. I hope everyone out there watching enjoyed the podcast. We'll have many more in the future. Let us know what topics you would like to see, and we can go over that. Because I'm pretty sure between the three of us, being champions and going to Worlds, we have many experiences and all that good stuff. So like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.